Hello everyone, it's me, Mary Hawk. Welcome back to another video. This is about 5 relief tips when it comes to autism and misophonia. This is more for misophonia specifically, but could also be used for auditory overstimulation or sensory sensitivity when it comes to sound and the agitation that comes from that. Now, misophonia, for those who do not know, is a mental disorder in which certain mundane everyday sounds that don't bother most people, or at most might slightly annoy them, trigger your fight or flight. So the trigger will differ from person to person, but for instance with me, if someone smacks their lips, whether they are talking or eating, whether it's me doing it, if it is a human smacking their lips, I get the same response to that, whether I want to or not. Spoiler alert, I don't want to. I get the same response to that as I would a tiger about to maul me in the woods. My brain doesn't see a difference in response. It responds the same to a tiger about to maul me in the woods as it would someone smacking their lips. And I would like to give a content warning, of course, when it comes to further discussions on finding relief in my personal experience finding relief from misophonia while having autism, that I will be talking about weight loss, mental health, and a content warning that method 2 of the relief tips is for adults ages 18 or above, and you should always consult your doctor and or psychiatrist before trying any of these, because not every method that I list will be a one-size-fits-all. Some things may not agree with your body, and I want to make sure you have medical supervision in case something goes wrong. So with that being said, let's get into the methods that have helped me. So method number 1 has been getting medication. While there's no official, as of last I checked, medication for misophonia itself, there is a medication that helps some autistic people that is known as Abilify. Of course, check with your psychiatrist, make sure it won't contraindicate any of your meds, make sure it won't cause issues for you personally. Medication is not a one-size-fits-all. However, for me, when I was in early high school, when I was first diagnosed with misophonia, I lost 37 pounds in 3 months and became very underweight because I was unable to eat due to being in a near constant state of fight or flight, and whenever I try to eat, I would throw up. I didn't want to be pseudo-bulimic, not really bulimic, but kind of pseudo. I didn't want the effects of something like bulimia on my body, so I just wasn't able to eat. And that was because of my misophonia, because I would trigger myself, because I would accidentally smack my lips. So for me, Abilify had helped to a degree lessen the fight or flight response or agitation from overstimulation when it came to my autistic side, because you have to consider that, at least for me personally, when it comes to my autism, I am very sensitive to auditory stimuli, and so combined with misophonia, like a specific trigger that triggers my fight or flight on top of the sensitivity, it just makes it horrible and like to live, essentially, and this makes it easier for me to live. Abilify has made it easier for me to live, but again, medication is not a one-size-fits-all. You should always consult a doctor before pursuing anything of a medical nature, whether it is like method one to finding relief from misophonia, or method 2, because hey, medication and substances are not a one-size-fits-all. So what is the second thing? The second thing may scare some people, and I'd like to remind people that we've been using this particular mushroom for longer than we've been using alcohol. In fact, Amanita muscaria predates alcohol usage by humans, in terms of Amanita muscaria usage by humans, by 10,000 years. So yes, this has been used for a very long time by people. It's not actually deadly, but microdosing this mushroom has helped me immensely, more than even Abilify. Even though I'm still on Abilify, I still take it every single night. I also microdose Amanita muscaria. Now, why would I do that? This is because there is a compound in Amanita muscaria known as muscimol. It's one of the more active compounds within the mushroom, and muscimol is known to reduce fear and anxiety responses in the lateral amygdala, which is a key part of the neural circuit that processes fear and anxiety, and usually a heightened response in the bilateral or lateral amygdala is usually indicative of fear-based or anxiety disorders, mental disorders, things like that. And so a reduction in that typically would indicate for most people that they have a reduction in the unpleasant symptoms of that disorder. And in my case, Amanita muscaria has been a lifesaver, practically. Like, Abilify is good, Amanita muscaria takes it to the next level for me personally. Again, medication and herbs and fungi are not a one-size-fits-all. However, Sometimes I will microdose it. Sometimes I will take it, this is the ground up cap here. I'll take it in the form of a tea in a disposable tea bag. And what first got me onto using this was a book by Dr. Bamasha, Microdosing with Amanita muscaria. I don't know where it is, but I used this oil that I got. It's from Belladonna's Botanicals. I don't think they sell it anymore, but it was the Amanita muscaria flying oil, or flying oil. And I put this on the bottoms of my feet because that's where it absorbs fast for a lot of people. And the next morning, my mom was eating breakfast out in the living room, and she was smacking her lips like she always does. And while that would normally trigger me, I was able to observe that trigger and let it go. And that's what really signaled to me. I was like, whoa, what is this? And then I realized, wait, I took Amanita muscaria the night before, seeing what would happen. This is what that is. So that is what really showed me that Amanita muscaria, for me personally, is a good misophonia relief when it comes to overstimulation, auditory wise, in addition to my misophonia. This has really provided relief, this mushroom. So what's the third tip? The third tip, and the rest of the tips on here will be mostly non-medical, so if you're not comfortable taking substances, these next 3 tips will be for you. So the third tip is noise-canceling headphones and earplugs. My boyfriend was really kind and gifted me these earplugs he would have worn at a concert. So what I do is I put them in. I might get loud here because I won't be able to hear myself as well. And I put on my noise-canceling headphones on top. And I wear these, and although it makes socializing a little more difficult because I can't hear others as well, that's a good thing, because I can't hear their smacking as well. I can't hear all the noise as well. I can be there in this social setting. I can participate, kind of, but I don't have to be triggered. Which is why I really appreciate these noise canceling options. Now, I understand headphones are not for everyone, the over-the-ear type, because they can cause tension headaches for some. That is where earplugs like these can come in handy when it comes to mitigating certain would-be responses to fight or flight or overstimulation when it comes to misophonia and autism specifically. Another thing that can help in the event that you can hear the trigger through those headphones and earplugs is getting a stim toy. I like these worry stones because these are usually not flagging people's radar in terms of social acceptability. Not that stim toys should be stigmatized, but unfortunately they are. I hate the stigma, but if you don't want extra eyes on you and you already have enough anxiety because of the impending overstimulation or misophonia triggers, getting something like a worry stone can be very useful because it's a more covert stim, and you can just kind of release that tension and anxiety and the fight or flight response in the moment in a healthy manner that doesn't potentially ruin relationships with others or ruin social situations. This helps release that fight or flight response in a more healthy and controlled manner for you and perhaps the relationships you have with others in addition. So that's where, in addition to the noise canceling headphones, getting a stim toy like a worry stone, I like red jasper, can be very beneficial for some. The last thing may not be useful for everyone. I understand where this may be a little difficult, but therapy, that's the 5th and final thing. Therapy can, in many cases, help one feel less ashamed and alone about their triggers and their responses to the triggers, the intrusive thoughts they get with the triggers. But not only that, but in many cases, provided this is a licensed therapist, of course, they can provide you with healthy coping skills that you can utilize when your fight or flight is triggered. I know talking to somebody can be very scary because you're scared of their judgment, but if you just bottle this up inside and you're like, what's wrong with me? I keep having these intrusive thoughts because my fight or flight's always triggered. My brain can't handle constantly being in fight or flight, so it gets these intrusive thoughts. Well, learning some coping skills from therapy can be very beneficial. I say that it has been very, very beneficial. Although the Abilify and the Amanita muscaria and the other methods help, what also helps is being able to talk to someone and process things out loud to another human. That really does help. Believe it or not, it helps. And also, it can help you learn a few more coping skills when it comes to managing that fight or flight response, managing the anxiety from the impending triggers, the possibility of a trigger. It will help you manage it. It'll help you cope with it in a more healthy manner for yourself and those around you, but most importantly yourself, because it doesn't really matter so much what others people think. It mostly matters how it affects you. Like, it is your body, you're the one with misophonia, you're the one with autism, so Like, of course, what matters here is how it works for you and what helps you, and honestly, therapy has helped me a lot. So, to recap this video, what has helped me going through the list is 1, medication, in this case, Abilify, 2, microdosing, in this case, with Amanita muscaria mushrooms, because the muscimol is known to reduce the fear and anxiety responses in the lateral and bilateral amygdala. 3 is noise canceling headphones and earplugs combo. 4 is getting stim toys that release the fight or flight response in a healthy and controlled manner, such as worry stones. And 5 is therapy, because talking to somebody is important and learning those coping skills so that you don't always have to be having a meltdown in public or something like that can be very beneficial and also just feel very empowering. You're like, wow, like I was able to manage this. I didn't necessarily have to mask, but I was able to cope and calm myself down in the moment because of what I learned in therapy, and that can be very beneficial. And again, when it comes to the first two things, especially the Abilify or the Amanita muscaria, consult your doctor or psychiatrist before taking it. My psychiatrist was fine with it, but others may not be, or you may be taking other medications that Amanita muscaria could contraindicate, and it's important to know that beforehand before you end up taking something and possibly messing up your health. Because unfortunately, medication, whether it is in the form of a prescription or a mushroom, is not a one size fits all. So that being said, I hope these tips helped you get ideas when it comes to managing your misophonia and or auditory overstimulation when it comes to being autistic. I wish you the best of luck and some relief in the overstimulation and the misophonia. I know I certainly need it. Everyone with misophonia certainly needs it, and no one likes being overstimulated. So, with that being said, I hope this was useful and helpful for anyone with these conditions. Again, not entirely medical advice, but like kind of. I'm not a professional, but I'm one who sees a professional. So, hope this helped. This is Hawk or Mary signing out. May you find relief and stay magical.